Donald Trump appearing to have a wacky, psychotic episode in the middle of the day, promising war crimes once again. And sort of unlike the random Trump outbursts, he claims that the directive he's giving has already been transmitted to the highest levels of the United States military. This is important before we look at the message, because often when Trump signs an executive order, it's basically a memo. It's, I would like someone to do this. Or when Donald Trump posts something to Truth Social, it doesn't really communicate an order. But Donald Trump is claiming that he has when he says, quote, every time Iran kills an American soldier, they will pay for that killing many times over. This directive has been passed on to the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Daniel Kaine, and every leader in the military. Now, acute psychosis is not so much a clinical diagnosis in this particular situation. It's a description of the deranged disconnect from reality represented by the president announcing military retaliation through a social media tantrum and potentially doing it with a little bit of war crime in there. Trump is describing warfare in this context as like a personal blood feud, which is basically what it's become. But the part I want to focus in on is the for every American killed, Iran will pay many times over. What does international law say about that? International law doesn't require one-for-one retaliation. They killed one of ours, we kill one of theirs. If Iran lawfully or unlawfully attacks American forces, the United States might respond against legitimate Iranian military targets. A strike that kills multiple Iranian combatants in the pursuit of a legitimate target is not automatically a war crime. It's not automatically illegal because only one American was killed, but 6 of theirs were killed. Trump's language is pointing to something that's a lot darker. If Iran will pay means killing civilians as punishment, attacking civilian infrastructure without any kind of concrete military justification, inflicting indiscriminate damage to run up some predetermined body count that Trump has bloodlust for, then we are talking about war crimes. Because the Geneva Convention bans collective punishment and reprisals against protected civilians. If you make an attack with the military, you have to distinguish between civilians and combatants. And expected civilian harm can't be excessive compared with the military advantage that the attack would give you. The problem here is that not only is Trump talking about many times over, like the revenge formula, just last week he said, we're going to go after civilian infrastructure. We've heard Trump talking about we're going to get power plants. We're going to get bridges. Republican Congressman Keith Self has even said, we have to go after civilian infrastructure. If you put all of that together, it's starting to sound like war crimes. This is starting to sound like an administration that is saying we are going to do collective, out of control punishment. And the most alarming word of Trump's post might be that word directive, because that means this isn't just another Trump truth rhetoric bluster that doesn't go anywhere. He is saying, I have given an order as the commander-in-chief to Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, and also the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Every military leader has been advised, this is now what we are doing. American service members, I think it's important to remember, are legally obligated to reject unlawful orders. The president told me to do it is not a defense if you are intentionally attacking a disproportionate number of civilians that are legally protected. The truth is that the Truth Social post could also become evidence. If unlawful attacks now follow, the fact that Trump said that and said, I've issued a directive, I've selected targets, and we're anticipating civilian casualties, that could be used to determine, is Donald Trump punishing Iran collectively rather than trying to achieve any military objective? And it's sort of funny to even go military objectives because it's not even clear what the objectives of this entire thing are at this point in time. The real promise was, I will end wars and definitely not start any new ones. And now he is publicly fantasizing about multiplying the body count whenever an American soldier dies in the war he started. This is effectively what happens when the commander-in-chief views military power not as a tool of national security, not as a tool of deterrence, but as an instrument of personal vengeance. American troops face greater danger. Iranian civilians become targets of Trump, and Trump casually walks towards war crimes and more atrocities, one social media post at a time. I am thrilled that when Trump tried to suck our NATO allies into this thing, it's at this point months ago, 2 to 3 week war, yet we're 21 weeks in and this was months ago. When Trump tried to suck in NATO allies and go, listen, you've got to come to our defense because we kind of screwed up the Strait of Hormuz, they didn't do it because that was outside of their Article 5 responsibility for shared defense. And Trump lost it. Good for them, because that was the right move. What we are seeing now is disgusting. And here at home, you have to see how Trump's suck-ups and dilettantes are trying to defend the failing economic record. Let's talk about that next. Some people assume focus is just about willpower, but if you've sat down to work and you're checking your phone, switching tabs in your browser, getting pulled into distraction, you know it's not that simple. I want to tell you about our sponsor, Brain FM. Brain FM is a music app designed to support focus. It's not the random playlists or ambient videos that people often will put on. It's music built from the ground up for cognitive performance. Brain.fm works with musicians and neuroscientists to create music that will interact with your brain's natural rhythms. Their patented audio technology is designed to influence brain activity related to attention. This is why Brain.fm is the only music app funded by the National Science Foundation. The app includes a number of modes depending on what you're doing: deep work, creative, motivation. There's a dedicated ADHD mode for people whose brains may benefit from extra support. There's also been peer-reviewed research published showing that their music increased activity in attentional networks and also improved performance on attention-based tasks. Try it yourself with 30 days free at brain.fm/Pakman. The link is in the description.